Throughout the cotton trees and sugary bushes, passing by the rivers that run with sweets and creatures made of candy, our story peeks through the sugar veil and begins like most stories do. Set within the interior of a tavern, amidst the various patrons and Sugar Guild members, our band of adventurers find themselves scattered around the establishment. First, there sits a blue-haired elf, adorned in very well-maintained, shiny armor, with a sword and shield at his side as his javelins are slung along his back. This is Arkin, a once rich noble paladin who finds himself away from his family, a new goal set as he looks about the establishment. Next, we see a copper-scaled woman having a human top body and face with gold hair, while having a lower-set snake body, clad in armor that almost blends in with her scaled skin. This is Yusa, a venomous Yuntai artificer with a seductive aura and dangerous bite. Finally, stepping in, a smaller figure clad in dark clothes and a large brim hat sits inside, keeping to himself in a timid, shy manner. This is Callahan, a seemingly human cleric who keeps himself covered in a large cloak, as well as keeping his head low and avoiding eye contact the best he can. And it is here where our characters get to know one another. With Arkin choosing to take a guild quest in regards to hunting mutated tubes, our noble paladin finds himself looking for other guild members to take with him along this journey. Yusa, also interested in the job board, would join Arkin before both of them would find themselves looking for a healer. Noticing the holy symbol dangling from his neck, Arkin would approach Callahan, and with the confirmed information from the timid boy himself, they would find themselves setting off on their journey. Once supplied and a mishap with a human-shaped slime man named Deimos following them out of the town, they would follow along the path with Arkin confidently leading the group with the sleepily drawn map of their route, as well as Arkin not being able to look at the map too well. As they travel forward, Callahan detects something up ahead, informing the group of a pack of goblins waiting for travelers to walk down the path they are on. With the group getting ready to engage, Callahan, the once timid, shy young man, would display a surge of power, flanking the goblins and launching a mighty thunderwave at the unsuspecting group of goblins. With the goblins exposed, Arkin takes an opportunity and hurls a javelin at one of the goblins, pinning his head into the tree. Yusa, taking advantage of the other downed goblin, would hurl an acid breath towards the green creature, melting his flesh down to gore and bones. Finally, with a radiant flame crashing down from the sky, Callahan would incinerate the last goblin, quickly ending the fight. With the group taking advantage of their plunder, with Callahan being also a bit more shaken up from the engagement, they would begin their walk forward. What they did not realize was that the booming thunderwave that Callahan had unleashed would draw the attention of an owlbear, the group spotting it in the distance as it came surging towards them. Walking through this sugary forest, we meet a tall, pale-skinned man with dark hair and heterochromia eyes of red and yellow walking down the path. This is Torin, a seemingly human monk traveling towards the same town the group had just left from. Hearing the thunderous boom, he would walk towards the source to investigate, only to see the group of adventurers hiding from an owlbear. Choosing to assist the group, Torin would engage the owlbear and attempt to draw the creature away. Arkin, seeing this newcomer attempting to help them, would choose to assist, ultimately bringing everyone together to take on the creature. The fight would start off well, with each member slashing and dealing damage to the owlbear. But in a state of showing off, Arkin would taunt and dodge the owlbear's attacks, too caught up in the moment as their bear released a devastating pimp slap towards the paladin, sending him flying into a tree. Unconscious and unresponsive, Callahan, who had been up in a tree dealing damage from afar, would risk his legs as he leapt down to heal Arkin. Bringing him back to the real world, Arkin would get back into the fight, fueled even more to put the beast down. With a mighty swing, he would smite the bear down, taking its head and burning the creature in the process. After the fight, the group would recover, as well as get to know the monk that had helped them. After a group huddle, they had decided to include Torin to their group to go and continue their quest. Journeying forward, they would come across another group of goblins, with Torin intimidating them to flee. While that encounter was nothing to pay much mind, the next one stirred the group. A pack of gummy-like weasels would approach them, but they possessed a disgusting greenish-brown coloration and looked sickly. Their bodies malformed and twisted into like a mold rather than looking like fresh candy. The group would discover their first encounter with the mold infection, dealing with the feral creatures the best they could. Not much was learned from these creatures other than they would explode on passing through a damage threshold, but the group was now aware of what they would be facing. They would soon get to know once more of this mold, taking cover off the road as they came across a pack of tubes, one of them having a lingering piece of the infection on their leg. It took seconds for the first tube to become infected, attacking the other gummy bears and spreading the disease even further until the whole pack had become feral. The usual friendly and companion-like gummy bears had suddenly become disfigured and grotesque undead creatures, intent on spreading the mold further and further. Continuing to pursue their quest, now fully aware of what they were up against, the band of adventurers would go deeper into the woods, the mold's infection becoming more and more apparent in the environment. The trees were sickly and dead. The sky had gotten darker and murky the more they went in. Reaching their destination, they would see several tubes gather around an opening, some of them seemingly more mutated and human-sized compared to their usual knee-height size. With the group making a plan of action, they would sneak towards the tubes to prepare the assault. Starting with a fairy fire, Yusa released a mighty beam of light into the air, highlighting most of the tubes. Following it, Callahan would release a thunder wave to take out and knock down as many of the creatures as he could. Torin and Arkin would rush forward, taking out the tubes as they could with the initiative they had set. The creatures were very durable, their molded bodies making it difficult to cleave through, as well as their poisonous imploding bodies making it harder to handle even after killing them. The fight grew closer and closer to ending, the herd of tubes getting thinner, and the group would begin to wear down the longer it went on. Stopping the few that began to flee, Torin would dash towards one and kill it, causing it to explode. The poison would strike his body, causing Torin to stumble and soon go unconscious. Hurt as well, Callahan would quickly stumble towards Torin and heal him. Torin, in a sudden state of feral fury, his eyes turned animalistic, a pair of sharp canines protruding out of his mouth. Torin woke and would attack Callahan, aiming for his throat. Nearly avoiding the attack, Callahan would stumble back in shock, with Arkin quickly moving to restrain and keep Torin in a hold. As Arkin and Yusa worked to restrain Torin, who revealed to be a Dampier, otherwise known as a creature that was turned into a vampire, Callahan's look of shock turned into one of empathy. Able to reach out to Torin, Callahan was able to calm the monk down and bring him back to his senses. Apologizing for his kept secret of what he was, as well as attacking the group, Torin would return to normal. With the group understanding that he had no control and no one was hurt from the exchange, they accepted his apology. Collecting their bounties, Callahan would take a moment to analyze what was left of one of the tubes, noting it to not be magic, but organic cause. The mold was a virus, rapidly mutating and evolving as the group declared someone was the one to cause it. It is here where Arkin reveals more about his noble background. Arkin's last name is Ansari, deriving from the House of Ansari, a noble elven family known for their craftsmanship and weapons. While they are known as blacksmiths and arm dealers to most, Arkin reveals that the family is a cult worshipping a god known as Aranthul, known for envy and slaughter. After discovering his family's true intentions and being struck down by his own father, Arkin theorizes that his house may have a role to play in creating the mold. With the group taking note of what they had learned, they would begin their journey back to the town to turn in their bounty. Their journey back would not be easy, unfortunately coming across another small group of mutated tubes. Dealing with them the best they could, they would see how fast the mold is mutating, with one tube absorbing the body mass of others to get bigger and more grotesque. Finding out one of their weaknesses, the other being blunt, Torin would freeze the bigger tube, immobilizing it and neutralizing the threat. Choosing to grab the frozen body for extra coin and to study an intact body, the group would do much better in avoiding trouble, reaching the town safely. Depositing the reward back at the tavern and becoming official members of the Sugar Guild, they would inform the barkeep of what they had discovered, as well as show off the frozen tube. The barkeep would choose to inform the guildmaster, Melly, as she holds quite the connection with the gummy creatures, being from the Fey realm and strange in nature. With that settled, the group would split up. One such split would involve Callahan taking Torin on a trip, grabbing rotten meat from an old lady running a potion shop known as Martha, who had helped them prep for the quest before. Finding a secluded and isolated spot, Callahan would share his own secret to Torin, revealing that he himself is also a Dampier. Callahan was from a small farming village when it was attacked by several vampires in the night. It was here he was bitten and turned into what he is now. With Callahan's father not wanting to kill his son, he would usher Cal away, telling the tale that his son had died in the raid from the vampires. Cal confides to this to Torin, feeling disgusted with what he is now and unable to go back home and see his family. Torin comforts Callahan, taking on the role to help him with his uncontrollable hunger, as well as maintain his secret from the others that Cal is a Dampier. While Torin and Cal bond over their shared secret, Yusa studies the frozen mutated tube. In a moment of horrific realization, she gathers the group back together to inform that the frozen tube was still mutating and festering, developing an even bigger explosive reaction when it defrosts. With the group now realizing they now have a ticking time bomb that could destroy the city, the adventurers scramble to find ways to deal with it. Remembering there was a wizard who had a quest back in the beginning, half the group would split to inquire the wizard's help, while the other would go back to Martha's shop to see if she could help. With the first group deciding to bring Martha to the wizard's tower, they would all meet the mighty wizard of the town, known as Fred. The group wanted to still learn more about the tube and the mold, so they devised a plan to prepare to send the tube away into a realm with Martha's help, while Fred would work on studying the frozen bomb. It would take a lot of time, the group watching and assisting the wizard in studying the body while the frozen thawed and grew closer to exploding. With a bit of luck, they would gather the information they needed from the mutated tube, with Martha sending it into the Fey realm with the help of a Fey goddess. With the threat now dealt with, the group would turn to Fred, inquiring what he had discovered from the tube. Here, Fred would inform the group that the mold, the infection, had developed to the point where now it can infect people. With the group deciding they needed a much-deserved break, Arkin had found out that the tavern was having an underground late-night fight club event. Choosing to release the stress they had built up, the group would participate in a few fights and bets for the night. With the humiliation of a halfling and dwarf by the hands of Torin and Yusa, Arkin showing off and enjoying the fame as he fought dinosaurs, and Callahan doing his best to not get greedy with all the coins they were winning, the group finally tuckered themselves out, choosing to end the night with much-deserved rest. Coming to the conclusion to take on another quest that involves escorting supplies for a blacksmith, the group would begin to prep for the upcoming adventure. Yusa and Cal would go ahead and meet the blacksmith to inform him of their acceptance of his job, with Cal making a request for new weaponry with a few owlbear claws he had collected from their previous encounter. Yusa, being a crafty artificer, volunteered to make weapons for Callahan. As for Torin and Arkin, they would encounter a new stranger, a tiefling. Scarred and missing his horns and tail, would interact with the two of them. Upon realizing who Arkin's family was, the tiefling, a rogue named Demakos, would threaten Arkin. With Arkin able to explain the situation to Demakos, the tiefling would relax, and seeing as they both shared the same goal to kill the Ansari family, he would join the group and help them on partaking in their new quest. After crafting a new pair of weapons for Callahan and bringing along the blacksmith's nephew Damien onto their trip, the group began their escort of supplies. The group's journey started rough, coming across a river. Knowing the wagon could not pass unscathed, Torin would freeze part of the river to cross over. Unfortunately, the group would attract the attention of a large eel, swimming towards them rapidly. Realizing the danger, most of the adventurers would try to kill the approaching eel, while Yusa attempted to befriend it. The eel would then release a mighty attack, electrocuting everyone on the wagon, including the horses. Damien and Callahan would suffer the most, with Damien suffering heavily while Cal was paralyzed and sent into a daze as he stood in front of death's doorstep. With Arkin using a spell to stop the eel in its tracks, Torin took the opportunity to rush away from the river and flee from the scene. Choosing to take a long rest and heal from their wounds, the group would set up camp. As the group planned on what to do, Arkin would come back to the group with Damien behind him, informing everyone that the blacksmith's nephew had sold him out to an abandoned guild known as the Red Eye Guild. Damien told them that the bandits were up the road, ready to ambush them and rob them of the supplies they had. The group would become divided, trying to decide on whether to engage the bandits or go around and take a longer and possibly more dangerous route. Callahan showed much more resistance in engaging the bandits, not wanting to stain a person's blood on his hands if he could avoid it. Being convinced that the roundabout way would be too much of a risk, as well as being the majority, the group decided to engage the bandits. Torin, sensing Cal's stress and uneasiness for tomorrow, would take him off to the side. Cal admitted his fears to Torin, not wanting to kill anyone and give into more of his vampiric side. Torin would reveal more of his past to Cal, how he was born as a vampire from a vampire father and human mother. He revealed that his father killed his mother when he came to take Torin, creating Torin's goal to kill his own father. Not wanting to get involved in the majority of the group and their goals of revenge, as well as not wanting to spill more blood and get into a dangerous fight, Cal continued to show more restraint and resistance. Torin, comforting Cal, would pledge to make sure Callahan would never have to kill someone ever. Giving in, everyone was finally on board to take on the bandits. After a painful morning with Arkin waking up with drawings on his face, with a certain rogue being more guilty than the others, the group remembered their plan of action and prepared for the upcoming fight. After a couple moments of travel, they would come across a wrecked wagon, a man seemingly pinned under it. Choosing to engage it directly and call it the man's bluff, Torin would reveal most of the bandits surrounding him and the wagon. With one final nod from Torin to the group, the battle would begin.